It was born not in a time of peace, but in the shadow of isolation. A fighter that emerged from embargoes, betrayals, and relentless ambition. When the world turned its back, Pakistan turned to the skies. What followed was a 20-year journey of steel, sweat, and sovereignty. This is the story of the JF-17 Thunder. In May 1998, Pakistan conducted its first nuclear tests in response to India's Pokhran tests. The world watched, and the response was swift: economic sanctions, military embargoes, and diplomatic isolation. Pakistan's fragile defense infrastructure was suddenly frozen. American F-16 sales were halted. Spare parts cut off. The very Air Force that had once stood shoulder to shoulder with the West was now left to fend for itself. But amid the pressure came a decision. One that would rewrite its future in the sky. It was in the early 2000s that Pakistan partnered with an unlikely ally, China. A joint project was born, initially under the name Super 7, but later renamed JF-17 Thunder. Joint Fighter was more than a name, it was a lifeline. This wasn't just about building a jet. It was about building independence. The mission? A multirole combat aircraft, lightweight, agile, and affordable. Something that could replace the aging fleet of Mirage 3, F-7, and A-5 aircraft. But the stakes were higher. This wasn't just about technology. It was about survival in a region where tensions could erupt at any moment. The project faced delays, skepticism, and the looming shadow of international pressure. But the engineers pressed on. In Chengdu and Camera, teams worked day and night decoding radars, perfecting aerodynamics and running simulations that sometimes crashed more often than they succeeded. And then, on August 25, 2003, in a remote Chinese airfield, the JF-17 roared to life for the first time. A prototype a beginning. Test flights followed, improvements came, and by 2007, the first 2 units were delivered to Pakistan. But they weren't ready for combat yet. Over the next few years, the jet would undergo nearly 1,500 modifications. Each change was a lesson. Each flight a statement. Pakistan was no longer just a buyer. It was a builder. The Thunder wasn't the fastest, nor was it stealthy. But it was practical. It could fly high, strike deep, and fight smart. Armed with beyond visual range missiles, precision-guided bombs, and electronic warfare pods, the JF-17 offered modern combat capabilities at a fraction of the cost of Western jets. But would it hold up in real combat? February 2019, the skies over Kashmir roared with tension. After the Indian Air Force struck targets in Balakot, Pakistan responded, Operation Swift Retort. The JF-17 Thunder, now battle-tested, took to the skies. In coordinated strikes, it delivered laser-guided munitions with pinpoint accuracy. Pakistan claimed to have locked on to Indian military targets and restrained from destruction as a show of intent. While the political stories vary, one truth emerged: the Thunder was no longer just a symbol, it was a weapon of deterrence. Today, over 160 JF-17s serve in the Pakistan Air Force. Newer variants like Block 2 and the more advanced Block 3 have entered the fray, equipped with AESA radar, helmet-mounted displays, and enhanced avionics. The Thunder is now being exported. Nigeria, Myanmar, and other nations have already inducted it into service. For countries with tight budgets but serious defense needs, the JF-17 offers something rare: autonomy, power, and pride. But behind its sleek silhouette lies a deeper story. The JF-17 is not just about missiles or dogfights. It's about a country refusing to be silenced. It's about engineers who wrote code under candlelight. Pilots who trained in simulators with outdated software. A defense establishment that was told, "You can't," and responded, "Watch us." And perhaps that's the true legacy of the Thunder, not that it flies, but that it was built, not by giants, but by those who refuse to be grounded. In a world where air power defines diplomacy, the JF-17 reminds us, the sky is not reserved for the wealthy or the powerful. It is owned by those who dare to rise.